But now here's another thing, which is there is too much government involvement in our lives. So the person who is bringing in government involvement is called being a socialist, or they call it a communist. Now, you're saying, what in the world does that have to do with the book of Revelation? There is just some relativity. And what I mean by that is, there's one part of scripture here that is said that in verse 17, it says, in so many words, verse 16, it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That's identification. And so it says that no man, and the reason for this kind of identification is if you don't carry the mark, if you don't carry the seal that has been given you, that has been issued by them, then you won't have a pass that would allow you to buy or sell. You won't be able to buy things, you won't be able to sell things. Because when you go to purchase, they're going to ask you for that ID. When I was in banking, there was a system that was tried, and part of it worked. But what they said is, what we want you all to do is, you know how they steal your government check. You know your own Social Security, or you know your own welfare. And so rather than you get a check in the mail because theft is very high, we're going to put a chip under your skin. And that little chip, which has data on your entire life, that's the chip. When you go up to the machine, you just hold that arm up there and it'll give you access. And then they try to expand on that by saying, on a medical basis, rather than you wear a bracelet with a chip in it, we can put a chip under your skin so that when you go to the hospitals and you're sick, they can read the chip, and no matter who the doctor is, you don't have to go back to your PCP doctor, you don't have to go to your main doctor, wherever you go, and they will have a computer set up that has all your files in it. So no matter what hospital you go to, they can read that chip under the skin and say what is going on in terms of your sickness. I say that's a ploy. That is leading us into a direction where there will be total control over what is going on, and you're not going to be as free as you think you are. And if you don't believe that, look at the airplanes. The airplanes can't fly without a chip in a computer and in their system. And so they go haywire. Everything gets shut down. It's moving more toward computer control to the point that if one person goes, look at the electricity. Look at people who go and sabotage the electronic grids that provide, and now we begin to learn where the systems are that feed electricity all the way down here to us. It's not around the corner. It's not this substation. There's a central place somewhere else that is feeding electricity down here, and all they got to do is shut that down and all these lights will go out. And we walk around thinking we are free. We're thinking like everything is working a certain way, and people, when they want to control what is happening, they will flip the script. But you better open your eyes and see exactly what is going on around you, because it's a much bigger picture than you think is going on. You got to be as astute. You got to watch the news. You better read, because this thing is in the book of Revelation. What it's saying is, in other words, if you don't sign on to the system of the dragon, if you don't sign on to the system of Satan, you will not be able to operate in this tribulation time. Now, the reason why you don't need to worry about it is if you are saved, you're not going to be here anyhow. But at least as I talk about today's environment, is still set up whereby if you are not of a particular status in your own life, you will not have access to even decent health care. And then the president says, let's open the door up and let all the others who are disenfranchised have access. And it just blew the lid off things, and folk are fired up hot and mad about the issue, saying that is going to drive us. It's going to drive. And I'm thinking about my children. I'm thinking about my grandchildren. I'm thinking about this. And this just ain't right. And I'm going to reverse everything for 30 million people who've never been covered in insurance. Now that has to do with receiving the mark of the beast. In other words, we are living in a time where some are going to start controlling the system and tighten up more than you think they're going to tighten up. And you better wake up and open your eyes to what God is saying is going on around us. Everything and everybody is not on your side. And the scripture talks about here that, and then see in the first service it talks about a man who arose out of the sea. He had the 10 horns, he had the this, he had the that. And basically what that was referring to are empires. And it talked about political empires. It talked about different nations that will rise up. And I don't see America as being named here. When it deals on the face of a lion, or look like an ox, or look at the bear, and all of these symbols, those are nothing but mascot symbols that represent certain nations. And it talks about these nations are going to come together. We are dealing with a system now to where they're trying to move to one currency type. And it's not the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar is working right now, but you have the euro currency that they're trying to operate and get flooded into the system. And that's one currency, one system, and then they move to one rule, one leader. And we're sitting just going just so, and it's happening even right now. Even the World Food Bank and all the things. Look at the droughts. Look at everything that's going on. And I suggest very strongly to you is those who are rich, who are at the top of the system, they know exactly what is going on. And believe me, they've already had their food and everything stashed out at a certain place that you don't know how to get to and you won't be able to get to. All right, y'all wonder where I'm going with this. All right, let me switch over. Let me talk about something else. Let's go to another point. Let's talk about something else. All right. Now, I'm not trying to be funny, but go to the gas station. Who you see running them now? Y'all ain't saying a word here. Now, we born here.
That's right. Construction company.
And don't have access to running a gas station, but you do pull up and get gas.
That's right. That's right.
Y'all ain't saying anything.
Amen.
And then you wonder, how in the world did they get access to finance to have these things?
All right.
We walk around here, we got to spend our money and go up to them and get it.
Yes.
And then I wonder, when the money is collected, where does it go? Does it stay in America or does it go back over to refinance something?